So my name is Justyna Szewczyk. I am Vice President Community for PSAC 901. So that's my union capacity. I am also a PhD student in the history department. Now I'm a third-year PhD student. It's still hard to, get used to. It's just the beginning of September. But yeah, generally I am also at the at a history department. So if anyone is here from history, please reach out. It would be lovely to connect with the incoming cohort, like from outside history as well. But yes, it's an opportunity to also maybe get someone from history. Okay. Sorry. I will, is it okay that I will be not admitting people? Can you, Levina, can you do all that? Okay, awesome, thank you. I don't know if this information has yet sunk in, but you're students, as new students to university, but you're also workers. Like the way we function at Queen's University and other universities, we have this a form of double identity. As part of our funding is composed of employment. We're both graduate students and we are at the same time workers, and Queen's is our employer. If during this presentation I use the word employer, I mean Queen's University. So that's a kind of a union jargon for Queen's. Queen's is our employer. So this double identity of a student and of a worker makes us graduate student workers. And why the union, and which union? You may also ask. I think I should have said that earlier. So all of the graduate student workers at Queen's University are unionized in PSAC. PSAC stands for Public Service Alliance of Canada, is one of the main trade unions representing public sector workers. And 901 in our name, PSAC 901 stands for our local at Queen's University. As the union is divided into different charters, different units, our number is 901. So exactly as in the chat, PSAC 901. This is the union that represents all of the teaching assistants, research assistants, and teaching fellows. And my assumption is that people present in this meeting will fall in one of these three categories. And kind of the first slide is to show you, the best things about PSAC and what it offers you. So it offers you $43.58 wage per hour. Also, thanks to being members of the union, we have paid sick leave, paid mandatory trainings, general contract security, and many other things, which I will talk in greater detail about later today. So our local 901, in short 901, PSAC 901, it's a long name. 901 is divided into two units. One unit is composed of TAs, TFs, and RAs. And this is our larger unit, which has approximately 2,000 members. When we say members, we mean graduate student workers. When you sign a contract as a TA, RA, or TF with Queen's, you are also a member, like automatically becoming a member of the union. So you don't have to do anything. Once your contract is signed, that makes you a member of our Unit 1 or Unit 2. Unit 2 is for postdoctoral scholars. So down the line, if you stay at Queen's within this capacity, you will be member of the Unit 2. So each of the units has a different collective agreement. And question is, what's a collective agreement? If anybody has an idea, wants to put it in the chat or speak up, all is good. What's a collective agreement? Contract? Yeah, it's a group contract. Exactly. So instead of each of us negotiating individually with our departments or our faculties terms of our employment, so our per hour wages, our I don't know, options for leave of absence or all other things. Collective agreement is an agreement signed on behalf of all of the members with the employer, with Queen's University. And the collective agreement regulates pretty much anything that is related to our employment, working conditions, our rights and obligations, as well as employers, Queen's rights and obligations towards us as agreements can be found on our website. And I really encourage you to read. It might be a little bit long, but there is also another with a shorter explanation of key points in our collective agreement. And I'll also mention that the current collective agreement is a result of bargaining that we just finished in the past winter term. So recently we've made some gains, of which I will talk in a moment. So this is our new and great collective agreement. I mean, there are still things we can do better, but that is up to you to also work out what you want as student workers. So our website is really something that I would like you, if you have a I don't know, moment now to click to open this website, just to have it somewhere in the history of your searches. I'll share in the chat later the link also to our link tree. So on our website, you can find all of the information about the union, the executive, the structure, what we do, when we do it, what are your rights under the new collective agreement, and all of those things. We also have, social media accounts that I'll share with you today. Basically, what I'm going to talk about today are the things that are on our website as well. So it can be a good point of reference for you in case you miss anything. So let's start with something that I guess is really important because it is related to our day-to-day functioning as graduate student workers. So our work and work hours, and how to manage this double identity of being a worker and being a student. So based on our collective agreement, the maximum hour that you can work on average per week is not more than 10 hours. So when you sign a contract for the entire term, the way these hours should be distributed is that no more than 10 hours a week. And we have different modes of tracking hours. So either you can, depending on what is, your mode of, what's your preferred way of doing that, you can either download our Excel file time tracker, or also we have apps that you can download. It is really important that you actually do track your hours. One of the most common complaints and problems that we have as graduate student workers is this conflict between our responsibilities as a worker, as a TA, RA, or TF, and our plans and responsibilities as students. So in order to make sure that the work aspect does not negatively affect your research and your studies, we encourage you to track your hours. It is also important because in the event of going above your contracted hours, you are eligible to ask for extra hours, to extend your contract in terms of hours, or to reorganize your duties. So it is really important that you stay on top of this, how many hours you work, so that you can renegotiate those hours with your employer supervisor in other words, the professor you work with, as a TA with a course or TF. So yeah, track your hours, really track your hours. You may feel that, this is just September, it's not a big deal, not many things to do, but once the term starts and there's a lot of grading and it becomes a bit more hectic, it's good to have your hours tracked. So when November comes or December and then you're grading some final papers, you still have hours to do it, and if not, you can report it and get extra time when needed. So please start from the very beginning tracking your hours. So the topic of hours brings us to benefits. I already mentioned the pay per hour. That is one of the benefits of being unionized and of being member of PSAC 901, or having a collective agreement rather than being specifically member. Also, all of the members of Unit 1 receive 3% in lieu of benefits, which are added to your hourly wage. So this wage, 43.58, if I remember right, that I showed you on an earlier slide, already includes this 3%. Another important benefit, and this is something we have gained in the last round of bargaining, we have now 12 hours of paid sick leave per contract. How does that work? So I told you just a moment ago that on average, we should not work more than 10 hours a week. So 12 hours of paid sick leave amount to around a week, maybe a week and a little bit more of paid sick leave. Of course, in the collective agreement, there's more detailed description that that will require a medical report, but it's not a very complicated procedure. And we really encourage all of our members who very often try to just think, it's just an hours, I can do it on Monday, Tuesday, or next week when I feel better. It's not a big deal. No, you are entitled to 12 hours of paid sick leave, and please use that. Don't try to juggle your responsibilities. You have the right to be paid while you are sick, and especially in the times like we have seen in the recent years and entering campus for in-person classes. We really encourage all of our members to use the rights they have in case you get sick. So it's 12 hours of paid sick leave per contract. What's a contract? Contract is what you sign at the beginning of the term. So if you are a TA twice in a year, in the, let's say, fall term and the winter term, in each term, you have a different contract. I mean, because mostly we don't do the 1 year, or depending on the departments, if it's a 1 year contract, it's a different thing. But usually we are hired on term basis. So those 12 hours are for each contract. So you can be sick both in the fall and in the winter, which obviously I don't wish anyone to get sick, but in case you do, you don't have to force yourself and work from home while being sick. And I really want to stress that we don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. You have the right to just be sick and be paid and stay home and focus on recovering, not grading papers because you're sick. You can stay home. And another thing that is also important and related to hours is that if for any reason you work longer than 8 hours a day, and that probably can happen at different departments depending how the grading system works, what is the exam load, because it really varies from department to department, or faculty to faculty. But if it happens that you work longer than 8 hours a day, you're entitled to get overtime pay. So again, back to my mantra, track your hours, track your hours, track your hours. And whenever you go above the contracted hours, or you see that you are going towards the end of the sorry, of the term, you will run out of hours, contact your employer supervisor, that means the professor you work with, and tell them that, look, I used more time for this or that, or it takes me more time to grade than anticipated. So I will need some extra hours to grade final papers, for example. Because usually around November, this is the time when many of us realize that the work we've done in the previous months took us some more time than we thought or that was planned in our contract. And we still have the awareness that, oh my God, the finals are coming. So we still have to work and have to grade a lot of papers. So it's good to communicate with the employer supervisor in advance, not after you run out of your hours in contract, but to contact your employer's employment supervisor and tell them earlier, so they can draft amendments to your teaching assistant form or teaching fellowship form. So it's good to be proactive by keeping track of hours. And another of the benefits that are fairly new, that from now on, I mean, for the last few months, not particularly right now, we have access to the Employee Family Assistance Plan for mental health support. This is in recognition that the last few years have been extremely difficult for many of us, and there are so many other problems and issues that we all have to deal in our personal and work life and student life, that we need to take care of ourselves and prioritize our health. That's why I'm also emphasizing those 12 hours of paid sick leave, at the risk of being boring and repetitive. I have to say it again. But what happens if things go wrong? So for example, what I mean by things goes wrong, you did a training, it was supposed to be paid, you spent hours, the department didn't pay you. You work as a teaching assistant, and it turns out that the papers you have to grade are too long or too many, so you go over the contracted hours. Or anything else happens, problems with workplace harassment, violence, all different things can happen when we work at university. So your union, we can advocate and help you to solve those problems. There are different steps to take, but right now I don't want to go into detailed procedure for grievances, but there are two things I want you to remember, that sometimes it's just possible to approach your employment supervisor and just talk. It depends on, of course, what are the relations at your department, how those things are handled within the department. So we encourage that you try to informally talk with the employment supervisor. When that is not possible, every department has a steward, so a person responsible for union-related issues. And if there is no steward, then there is us, the executive, or the chief stewards. I will share the contacts of other people from the union. Then you can approach one of us, stewards at your department, and they will help you take the next step from there. So you're never alone. You also don't have to try the informal conversation. If you don't feel comfortable, you can right away come to a steward or come to one of the chief stewards who will assist you in deciding what to do next, how to do it, and help you the best way possible to solve whatever problem you may have, and in a way that is most comfortable for you as well. So there is no pressure to do anything when you don't want to, but we would love to hear from you and try to work out with you a way forward that is satisfactory to you, and also works for the others, so that this doesn't happen again. If you have any questions about grievances, you can put it on the side and I'll be happy to answer that in the question part. I just don't want to spend too much time on the timelines and steps and procedures, just for you to know it's there. So I was just talking now and I mentioned stewards, executive, I used all of those words. So I think it's the time to, well, to talk and actually explain what I mean when I use these words, or when you join any of the meetings and you hear these words, what they mean. So I already told you that we have around 2,000 members, and that all of the graduate student workers or people with a contract are our members. And members are what makes the local members are what makes the union, because this these arrows here, for lack of a better clip art, they're not very accurate, to be honest. So members as a whole meet every year in April at an annual general meeting, and that is when all of the members present at the meeting, and you are always informed in advance of the meeting. You are always sent agenda for the meeting. So there's usually quite a big preparation for the annual general meeting, so that as many members as possible can join. And that is when the members elect the executive. By the executive, we mean the smaller group of people who runs the day-to-day business of the union. So the president, vice presidents, chief stewards, who help with the grievances. So this group of people that helps to run the administrative side of the union, and who also represents the members in relation or in contact or in communication with the university. Members also, but not as a whole, but members in each department elect their stewards, departmental stewards. In some departments, it's called PSAC 901 representative. Different graduate student associations in different departments may have different names. But stewards are chosen at the department level, and they are kind of a middle person between the executive and the members. So when you have a problem, when you want to start a grievance, when you want to ask about your rights or anything related to collective agreement, or your status as a student worker, steward in your department is your first person of contact. Unfortunately, we have some departments who don't yet have stewards. I'll talk about it later. Maybe one of you would like to, or some of you would want to be department stewards for your departments. So stewards are your first person of contact. If there's no steward, you can always contact chief stewards, as I said before. So this is the executive. It's not a big group of people. So as you see, we have the president. There is a vice president for postdoc. So this is for unit 2. Also one vice president for research assistants, because they're the nature of the work is a little bit different than the nature of TAs and TFs work. There is also me dealing with the relations with the community, and people who probably would be very important for you to contact if there is no steward in your department is Avi and Jake. These are our 2 co-chief stewards. So they are the ones coordinating work of other stewards. They are the ones who help with grievances and many other things. So yeah, like I said, in case you have no steward in your department, contacting one of our co-chief stewards would be a course of action for you if you want to contact about grievances. We have a treasurer, equity officer, who also is involved in justice committee, but this will be in a moment. Information officer and health and safety officer. And probably if you have any concerns as we're coming back to campus related to your health accommodations, and you would like to ask questions related to that, contact Jacqueline. She will be happy to help, because we understand that some of us may not feel very safe returning to campus right now. So if this is you, contact our health and safety officer. And a few words about Stewards Council, because this is really important. So I told you a moment before here that all of the members choose the executive during annual general meeting that takes place usually in April. But we also have a monthly Stewards Councils. So Steward Council, as the name suggests, is for stewards from different departments. But the council is not limited to stewards only. All members are welcome to attend those Stewards Council meetings, because at those meetings we discuss what's happening across departments. This is when stewards suggest different actions, share experiences, problems. That's when we brainstorm what to do, what do we want to do, what are issues of concern, and what do we want to do about it. So those councils are not limited to stewards. To the contrary, we want as many members to come to participate in day-to-day running of the union. And something slipped my mind. So yes, everyone is invited, and you will start receiving very soon our newsletter once we receive from Queen's email addresses of all our new members from the first years. So you will be receiving newsletters, and those newsletters will have information about when the council meetings take place, where, so you will be informed through the newsletter about the council meetings and also about any other events that 901 will organize. And I already said that every department elects their own steward, so that the steward knows the specificity of the department. Because me at history, I would not be able to fully understand the nature of work people do in, I don't know, biology lab or in other labs. So the stewards are elected in the departments so that they understand the nature of work and the challenges and specific needs of members in those departments. We still have some departments without stewards. So if you happen to know that your department doesn't have a steward, or if you see that there is an election for this position, I encourage you to run for this position for a number of reasons. Reason number one is that you would have a chance to build network and to build connections and friendships with people across the university from different departments. So it's going to open you to what is going on campus and in broader community as well of Kingston. And also there is a pecuniary reason, as during last annual general meeting, our members voted on an increased honorarium for stewards. And right now it stands at $400 for, of course, whenever there are some trainings, if we need to train or if a steward wants to get training on union related issues, those trainings are also paid. We really value your time. We want our time to be valued also by the university. So if there are any trainings, we always make sure that that our members are compensated for their time and their effort. Okay, so in this part of my talk, and it's not gonna be much longer. I would like to talk about different ways in which our members, you guys, can get involved depending on your interests. So in our bylaws, so the laws that regulate the structure of the union, we have many in different issues, different topics that are open to the members. So one of those is Joint Health and Safety Committee. Quite an important committee, as shown again by the recent years of the pandemic and other challenges. So this is a department, this is the committee that is working with different faculty committees trying to do what? To make sure that the university is a safe space for work, for us as workers. So if this is something that that is close to your heart, if this is something also that that you would like to specialize in, there will be also trainings related to that topic. You don't have to have any prior experience. All the committees are not experience based or like exam or recruitment based. All of the members are encouraged to join a committee of their interest. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to benefit from your ideas and energy. So if this is something you would be interested in, please contact our safety officer. This is the email. You can also find it on our website. Our safety and health officer, Jacqueline, she's the person of contact. We also have affordable housing working group. Those of you who moved to Kingston recently, I'm sure the experience of looking for housing is a fresh experience for you. And well, to my knowledge, it's not, most of the time, it's a very negative, frustrating, stressful, and even infuriating experience to find affordable and good quality livable housing in Kingston. And this has been an issue for quite some time. Hence, the Affordable Housing Working Group. It's a group of our members who are interested in this issue. They organize around the interests of graduate student workers with adequate and affordable housing. They have organized numerous campaigns and research projects as well. And they are very active in this area, also collaborating with different community organizations. So if this is something that you would be interested in, again, this is this time me to be contacted, and I will provide you with further details or information about meetings and plans for the upcoming months. This is a group that is quite active, so lots of things can happen or can be done within the scope of this group. Another very active committee, very active committee is Social Justice Committee. And this committee works on issues related to both our campus to create more inclusive spaces at the university, but also it is tapped into networks, events, and things and issues happening in the broader Kingston community. So it is not just for students or just for student related or student worker related issues, but this is also a way to, if you're new to town and social justice issues are close to your heart, that's a way to not only be active within the student community, with the broader Kingston community, and yeah, be in a way more at home. So for that, you can contact our Equity Officer, Prerna. That's her email address here. Again, you can find it on our website, and she'll be happy to tell you more about the upcoming meetings and actions and things that the committee has planned. Of course, our newsletter is also a way of finding out about those things, but more once the event is already has been planned. If you want to participate in the planning and executing different projects and plans, contact her to be part of it. And another committee is Political Action Committee. So this committee works mostly with the broader community to help build connections and strength of the labor movement in bridges between the student community and the broader Kingston community, which means supporting workers in different workplaces, providing, offering solidarity, and similar similar acts of solidarity. Let's say that. For that, contact me, and also be on the lookout in the newsletter for information about different events in the community related to political action. We are also, if the things I've talked about now, the committees, they don't fall within your interests, or just they don't fall within your interests. But for example, you are organizer, you like to organize things like barbecues or any other social events. We would love to have you on board, because it's always great to do something together. Last year, barbecue in the fall was great success. So we want to have more events that bring our members together. And if you like doing things like that, if you have an idea, what would you like to do? We'll be very happy to talk and support you in doing that. Also with the social media, we always look for someone who would like to work and design our social media posts. So if you have those skills, if you like social media, if you like design, and again, you don't have to have lengthy professional experience, but you like the topic, you have an idea what to do, please contact us, because we are very often during the year hiring people on short-term contracts to run different social media projects. So soon we will have education campaigns, and we'll probably need somebody, not probably, we will need somebody to run social media projects. And this is something also that that actually I'm accidentally saying, but on regular basis within the union, we have some different short-term contracts for different research, or for example, to run social media projects. Those contracts are employment contracts, and they also paid at the same rate per hour as your TA contract. So this is an opportunity to also get involved with the union, but in a different capacity than volunteering in the committees. The last thing that I think is very important and is different bursaries that we have, and some of them are new, and recent wins of our with the child care. Did I start with the child care? Sorry, there's something. Oh, I need to. Okay. So This is the only childcare bursary on campus that is for teaching assistants, teaching fellows, and research assistants with children. And you may receive up to $500 per semester. So as you see, there are different deadlines at the beginning of every semester. There's a different deadline. What is important, apologies. What is important is that this childcare bursary is not limited to Canadian residents or citizens. Any graduate student worker with children who has an expense related to childcare, and this also does not have to be an expense that expense in Canada. It can be also outside of Canada. Basically, a childcare expense. If you are a TA, TF, or RA with a child, you can apply for this bursary and receive up to $500 reimbursement. So if this is you, please do apply. There are still 2 more weeks in September. If you know of anyone, please tell them, and make them apply. Let me just have a look in the chat. Okay, no, it's not, no question to me, sorry. Another bursary that we have, and also the only one that exists on campus that is financed by our members' dues, is Gender Affirmation Bursary. And this is bursary that supports our members in the process of transitioning. The application timelines are going to be shortly announced. The payout is up to $2,000. And this is also, I just want to stress that there is no, there is a definition. Basically, any costs related to the process of transitioning can be covered by this bursary. So it's a very broad definition, and we encourage members to apply or to reach out if they have any doubt. But this is the only bursary available at the moment on campus. If it applies to you again, or if you know anyone who would benefit from this bursary, please spread the word and encourage application. Another bursary that we have is mental health. Actually, it's a mental health and hardship, as well as professional development. So these are 2 new bursaries that are starting to be, that will start to be dispersed in this academic year. They are new. Why? Because they are a result of the last round of bargaining with Queen's. So last year we did not have these bursaries. So as you see, the mental health bursary is in the value of $120,000. Don't get too excited. It's not per person. It is for all of our members over the period of the collective agreement being in force. So for the next 2 years. And the same, we have also a bursary for professional development in the amount of $10,000, again, for the duration of the collective agreement. So these are new wins, but I'm sure we can do better next time, as we all recognize the hardship and the mental health issues that some of us struggle when we juggle our responsibilities as students and workers and humans as well. So we don't have yet detailed procedures and deadlines to apply. We have an RA working on figuring out what is the best way to manage this fund in the most equitable and accessible way to our members. We are aware of the fact that September, has already started. So shortly, we will make an announcement regarding deadlines and application procedures. So be on the lookout. And again, it will be in the newsletter, but be on the lookout. So I'm arriving at the very end. Couple of things that will happen. So we will have a barbecue this year. No, I mean in the fall. No date has been specified yet, but again, you will see the news through the newsletter and the posters on campus and our social media. So come to the barbecue. In September, there also will be a Stewards Council meeting. And this is really important. If anything that I said today made you interested in the work of the union, come in September, because that's when probably a lot of planning and brainstorming related to what the goals are for this year will happen. So if you have some ideas, concerns, projects you want to discuss, please come to September Stewards Council meeting. And also in the fall, we will have SGM in the union jargon, that is special general meeting. So this is a meeting to which all of the members are invited. And we will be discussing changes to the budget and other organizational issues, because the budget and the way it is allocated and the way it is spent is controlled by the members and always voted on by all of you members of the union. So how to reach us? The important thing is that I hope that I managed to convey that during this this talk, is that the union is for you, and the union can take the direction in which you want the union to go. What you need to do is to come, get involved, and take it there. There is no set direction. The direction is set by our members. So reach out to your stewards, reach out to the members of the executive or the committees, get involved, and take it in the direction that you would like to see it go. Watch out for the newsletter. I mentioned newsletter, I think 20 times in this presentation, hoping that it will stay in your mind and you will not ignore it when you see it in your mailbox in the next few weeks. So this is all from me. Surprisingly, it took me a lot more to talk than I thought. Apologies for that. I don't know. How did I become so chatty? But yeah. Any questions?